Welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and capital raisers in the world to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer yourself, your life, your marriage, and use real estate as your wealth creation vehicle so that you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and contribution. If what you're after is having it all, if what you desire is becoming the best version you can be across all areas, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sentimentally, and financially, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best of the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, knowledge, experience, and skills so that you can go out and crush it financially and across all areas of your life. Grab pencil and paper, sit back, enjoy, and you are welcome to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. Hello, Modern Kings and Queens. Welcome to another episode of the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast, where we interview the best real estate investors, capital raisers from around the world to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets for you to conquer yourself, your life, your marriage, and use real estate as your wealth creation vehicle so that you can achieve your financial freedom. I'm super excited today because I get to connect with, interview, learn from, and talk to an incredible, super experienced real estate investor. But before I introduce him to you, though, I just want to ask all of you listening or watching for a favor. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value, if you learn a new skill, if you get a mindset shift, if you get some information or motivation or inspiration to go out and take some action and keep on moving forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with some of your friends. Share it with someone who you think might be interested in real estate. Share it with someone who you think this might impact. Share it and help us spread our message and help other people. And to all of you who share this message, I say thank you. And today, I have Joe Killinger. Is that I get it? I got it right?
Joe Killinger, close enough. I've been Killinger. I've had it all. So, and we're good.
I'm Mexican, man. So I have the tendency to pronounce "ger" as if it was So Joe Killinger, and he's the #1 resource for both real estate agents and investors. Joe brings a unique perspective to the changing real estate industry. And he advises real estate agents and companies on how to efficiently grow their businesses. And he also advises individuals that want to become real estate investors on how to get started in the real estate investing career. So I'm super excited. Thank you very much for being here, Joe. And you're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Joe, the first thing that I like to do with my guests is I ask them to walk us through their real estate investing journey in 75 seconds or less.
Yep. Okay. I can do that. I started off with no money. And so I started flipping houses with a contractor friend of mine and another friend that had some money. The contractor friend and I went in with sweat equity. So I did all the dirty demo work, all the shoveling. I did all of that for a small portion. And I learned how to do investing. And so we did that on like 3 or 4 single family homes. But then the economy turned south on us. Fortunately, we got out with a little bit of money. I went to work at an auction company here in Los Angeles, excuse me. And I've met my business partner now we have a commercial brokerage company here in Los Angeles called Commercial Brokers International. He is our CEO, and we have been buying multifamily properties. Now, we focused on low to moderate income areas, pretty much high crime areas that we put in a lot of programs to really help our tenants. And it worked very well for us. We were in Watts, Compton here in Los Angeles, South LA. We had big success there. And then we moved on to investing in other states. We had in Dallas, Texas. We sold our portfolio of multifamily investments about 2 years ago, actually. And pretty close to 2 years now. And now our focus is STNL, single tenant net lease properties that are like Chase Banks, fast food clients or fast food locations, stuff like that. So we have a Jack in the Box, Del Tacos, those kind of products is what we're after right now. We'll probably go back into multifamily when the timing is right. So.
Okay. So you sold your well, first of all, I think we shouldn't breeze over the fact that you started with no money. How was that experience, man? Because like most people, that's how they need. Well, not need, but that's the only way that they can get started, right? With no money.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was terrible, but it was because it was just I did all the dirty work. I mean, I was the one doing the demoing. If there's anything dirty to do, I had to do it, and I was fine with that because I was learning. Not just I'd never done single family homes before, but I really learned the ins and outs of construction. I was part of the, obviously, since I was getting a piece of it, I learned on the finance side, investment side. So I really, really learned from that. And I was very fortunate to find the right partners. Now, that is something, somebody that's putting sweat equity. I mean, you have to bring, it sounds simple, right? Oh, I just have to do some work. Well, I lived in the house I was demoing. I was working 10, 12 hours a day, demoing this house and then, cleaning it up and doing it, tearing the yard apart, putting it back together, helping put it back together. And so it was a lot of work. I really earned my money. But I was just very, very fortunate to run into two individuals that would allow me to do this. And so you've got to be particular if you're new about who you partner with, and you got to find the right people. And if there's nothing worse than a bad relationship in an investment like that. So I think I was very blessed. So
Hmm. Yeah. So partnering with the right people, finding the right partners. You know that this is a like a topic trend or yeah,
yeah.
something that keeps on coming up. So what advice would you give to anyone out there who's gonna get started into real estate and they have no money, to maybe make their journey a lot smoother and easier and not as hard as as what you're describing that you
Yeah.
went through?
Well, to make it it's very hard to make it easy. There's no, if it's going to be worthwhile, it's not going to be an easy path, right?
For
Unless
sure.
you were raised in a family that has plenty of money. But and I didn't have that. I come from a working farm in central Nebraska, and my parents actually lost the farm my freshman year in college. So we didn't have money, and so I did what but I was not afraid of hard work. Growing up on a farm, you better not be afraid of hard work. And so, but if you're going to come in and do this, you can help find the property. You can do the labor material or labor and all the work, the hard work. And if you're willing to do that, and it was very hard. I mean, fortunately, I'd saved a little bit of money, so I didn't have to get paid right away because I was putting that money that I got. I negotiated a deal to be like an hourly salary. And then that hourly salary would go into that investment. And then, so you've got to be smart about what you're doing with your money before you even get going, because I wanted to invest. And obviously, I didn't have any rent because I was living in that terrible home, and I saved the bedroom that was in the back. I kept the smallest bedroom for myself. And so that's where I lived. I sealed it off every night so dust wouldn't come in, or every morning so dust wouldn't get in. And that's where I lived. So I didn't have rent. I ate at the property. It was really, there was nothing romantic about it. It
Yeah.
was a terrible way to live, but it was 6 months to do that first property. And then I did the second property, was very similar to that. But by the third property that we were doing, we did five total. I was good. I was doing everything right. I was getting money for doing the work. So I have my initial investment in. Now I could get paid by the hour. But you've got to bring something of real value, because the person that has the money up is, they could lose everything. They could lose it all if you don't do it right. And if you're putting sweat equity into it, what do you really got to lose other than your time?
Hmm. Cool. And then after that, you went into multifamily. So
Yeah.
how did that go?
Yeah, it was. So we focused on it went very well, but on the first one we bought a 10-unit building in South LA. It was a home run, and we were in an area that was starting to turn, and we just really worked with our tenants. The manager that was working that property just wasn't very effective, and the tenants were very frustrated. They weren't always paying their rent. We just made sure that we were out at that property, sometimes, I mean, almost every day, but at least 4 times a week, we'd be out at the property talking to the tenants, talking to the kids. There's a lot of kids in this building, and that property performed very well. Now, property number two, not so much. So we bought a 3-story walk up in a low income area, largely Hispanic community. And what we didn't realize is when you have a 3-story walk up, when you want to carry groceries up to the 3rd floor, it was, and these were big units. I mean, the building was beautiful, the units were beautiful, but people just, we could, it was tough to keep those top floor units occupied because people just didn't want to carry stuff up those 3 flights. And so we had to discount those rents. And then of course, once you discounted those rents, everybody below wanted to have a discount in rent. So we offered them the 3rd floor units. And the building, it was just very hard. So, and that's one thing that I think we had such good luck with the first investment. The second one wasn't great. But then since that, we learned that, you've got to be smarter on the investment. We just saw this property come up. We acted fast, didn't think about the 3-story, and we got out of it. But, we could have done better if we'd have chose other investments. So it was a little bit, if you're going to live on the 3rd floor and then rent the lower ones out, great. But be prepared to struggle on keeping those 3rd floors out unless you're willing to put in an elevator. But after that, we did very well. We did very well with our investing. We stuck in the class B and C assets. And, like I said, we got out of it a couple of years ago. We didn't plan on it. We had an investor came in and said, listen, I like what you guys are doing. I'm syndicating a bunch of deals. I'd like to buy your portfolio. It was not on the market. And we said, well, this is our number, thinking he would just go away, and he took it. So we're like, okay, well, now what? And so that's how we started buying the STNLs of the Chase Banks and the Jack in the Boxes and stuff like that, especially going into a time where you didn't know what the economy was going to do. The single tenant net lease deals are a little bit more, a little less risk.
Cool. So you sold your portfolio. So how many units did your portfolio have?
We were 500 and something at the time. So not too big, but they were just prime properties. And we always bought, we're very careful on our due diligence to find, probably sometimes it's the worst properties in the best areas, and of that class B and C area. Like in Texas, we had one that was on this street called Spring Valley, and the other street was named Mayhem. And when we bought the property, it was very well named, but we worked with the local police department. We got the gangs out. We were at a lighted intersection. Traffic stopped there. School stopped there. School right next door. Retail with all the services right across the street. And so that's why and that's what we focused on. We focused on location. Asset we always knew we could fix up. We just wanted to see how old it was. This one had chillers and all that, but they were pretty new. We held on to that property for 8 years. And so, or that property. But another one was not too far away, but a very similar situation. And it was a little better.
A part of investing in, doing STL properties. What else are you doing? Are you teaching? Are you helping other real estate investors? You mentioned on your website that you help other real estate investors get started, right? So
yeah, we do. We sit down and talk to, like, with our. So I have a YouTube channel. You can go on the website. You can see it. You can see the website is up behind me. You can go to the YouTube channel. So we put videos out. We pretty much daily, we put content out on the YouTube channel, and it's always about how to become a good real estate investor or a real estate agent. And so we're constantly creating content to really provide that. Because when I got into the business, and my business partner as well, there was not really mentoring going on in commercial real estate. Everybody be like, you know what? They keep their cards close to their chest because they saw you as competition. Well, as this industry evolves, and it's really been evolving a lot lately because there's more technology, things move faster. There's plenty of business for everybody, and people are starting to realize that. And so, yeah.
So do you have like a coaching program to teach commercial real estate investing, or do you just create
It's
content?
I free content. I do have some people that I'll set up calls with every, we'll do a couple weeks. I have an initial call with somebody. It's usually about half an hour, and I tell them, this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to focus on. And then I'll do follow-up calls with them over the next couple weeks and see how they go. And then I do, once a month we'll check in, stuff like that. But I don't charge. I don't charge for any of this. That's not my intent. My intent is to be the guy that I wished I could have had when I was getting into this industry, because there's a lot to it. It's really not a hard business once you're into it. You can kind of you get situated, but you got to learn what to look for. And it's expensive to get started. It's hard to find the right people to work with. Um, but once you get that, you can really build something.
Yeah. So what's the horizon for you? Like, what does the future bring for you? Are you looking to throw events, or like expand your education,
Well,
the education part of what you do?
yeah, no, we've got Commercial Brokers International in Los Angeles. We want to continue to grow the commercial brokerage company. We'll continue to grow the YouTube channel. And I mean, for most part, for as far as the mentoring and the training, I just do that when somebody really wants to really get started. But I just always ask everybody, listen, if this is something you want to really do, then I'm happy to go hand in hand with you. But you have to do what I'm asking you to do, because Alex, you don't know how many people I've started with, and they just don't do what I'm saying. This is what you have to do. They still want to go down their own path. And,
Yeah.
you've got to, so many people watch like $1 Million Listing and those shows thinking that's the way commercial works too. And it's not that way. You've got to put everything in place. You've got to do your networking. You've got to do your cold calls. I mean, this is if you're an investor too, not just an agent. You've got to build. You need to be building for the future, and everything you do, be building for the future. And so, what do you need to do that? You've got to start off with a solid base. If you don't have a solid base, you got a problem. So we've seen that over the last 11 years, 11, 12 years. It's been easy to make money in real estate, and because it just kept going up, right? It's been an up cycle. Well, that's not going to happen for a while again. So um, I think there's going to be opportunities out there. It's going to be harder to raise money for a while, but I think if you're really thinking about this business, it's a good time to be watching and learning, and maybe invest in a real estate investment trust and start watching those, how the reporting works and all that. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity out there.
So what does a brokerage company do?
Commercial Brokers International, we find properties for real estate investors, or people that want, or businesses that want to lease the space out, or if they want to invest in real estate. We're a full service brokerage. So, and we've got an affiliate network that will help we can run everybody all around the country. We've got affiliates in almost every major city. And we also have our own commercial mortgage company called Icon Capital, ICAteam.com. Icon Capital is strictly for commercial real estate mortgages, but so we have a few things going on.
Cool. Awesome. Well, man, I know you. We had a couple of this episode is going to be a bit shorter, and I do end my podcast with a couple of questions. So the first one is,
Yep.
Knowing what you know now, Joe, what piece of advice would you give your younger self at the beginning of your journey to help you have a faster, easier, maybe smoother success?
It's just what I was talking about. I kind of just jumped in, and like I was talking about, I just did the whole sweat equity thing.
Yeah.
I didn't have access to the internet then, so I couldn't. There was really no way to really learn it other than that way. There's a lot of opportunity to understand the business now by watching videos, by talking to people. Really build that base before you get into it. You guys are putting this great content out. Listening to you guys, listening to our YouTube videos, really get a base and an understanding, and it can help you build this a lot faster. But then be patient. Don't take the first deal that comes across your plate, like we did with our second one. Be patient, find the right deal that meets the parameters that fit your needs and your investment criteria.
Awesome. Great advice. Thank you, man. So You mentioned networking right now. You networking, doing the work, the
Yeah.
cold calls and everything. And then I talk a lot about networking. I talk about, I know that building relationships and networking is key to be successful in the real estate investing game, raising capital and finding deals and all of that. So, what networking strategy or advice can you give on that?
Well, there's a lot of, there's a lot more opportunities now. Obviously, there's meetups that you can go to that are very powerful, and finding the right mind, the people with the same mindset as you is critical. But you also have to come from an open mind. Be willing to help other people out. If you're willing to give to your community or help people out that are doing the same thing, for example, one of our agents today listed a property and she's taking out to her investors because she just put it on the on the market about an hour ago. I said, here, email these people that property because they're in that asset class in that area. She goes, well, why would I do that? I said, because you're building a network of people that are going to help you down the road. And so she sent that out, and all three of them responded, my man, thank you for doing this. I will get this out to my investors right away. And what she did is she just created a situation where when they have something now, she's going to see it first too. And so you got to be smart about how you use your time and, utilizing the networking properly. Then secondly, digital marketing, building your community on social networks. If you're an investor, you're an agent, there's a huge opportunity there. You've got to build your community and bring value within that community. Don't just be posting content to be posting content. Make it meaningful and desirable for your community.
Got it. And the last one, Joe, what mindset shift should a real estate investor have to be successful?
The mindset is that I have learned is to do well. I don't know if it's a mindset, it's more of an action, is to listen. We all, you just need to, you want to have a positive mindset that you're going out there, you're talking to the right people, finding the right people that really have access to the right deals for you. But then listen to everything. My father used to say to me, Joe, you have two ears and one mouth. And he goes, just do more listening than you are talking. And I found out that when I was young, I was doing more talking because I really didn't understand the process that he was talking about. But do more listening, and I think you'll learn more. But the mindset is to just step back. Be prepared. You don't have to be front and center all the time.
Awesome. So, Joe, if I'm a real estate investor and I'm interested in all the properties that you may have with your brokerage company, or I'm an aspiring investor and I want to become an agent or a real estate investor and I just want to learn, and I just want to surround myself with you, right? Where would be the best place to find you?
You can go on the website that I've got posted right back there. I don't have my glasses on, so I think you can see it. It's at joekillinger.co, joekillinger.co. And if you have questions, you want to talk, 310-943-8542 is my direct line. And happy to talk to you. And if you want to get on Commercial Brokers International website, you can go on there. I think it's cbicommercial.com, and it'll ask you if you want to be part of the mailing list where you can get all of our listings sent to you. And so they'll start sending them to you.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Joe. I've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you later, okay?
All right. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for listening to the Modern Real Estate Investor Podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate you, and we are super grateful about being part of your journey of becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur and having it all. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will be impacted positively. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be across all areas. And if you thought this episode was really valuable, share it on your social media as a post or a story. We have a special gift for all of those who contribute to the Modern Kings and Queens movement. So for those of you who decided to share this episode and help us spread our message, send me a message letting me know on any social media platform at Alex Ramirez, the Modern King. I have a special surprise for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.